kick it old school, so you can feel cool. Give it to me, baby. Baby. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on today's version of Meeting with the Manager. I'm your host, Phil Ascio, and tonight we have a very special show with one of the best managers in this league right now, coming in hot despite some struggles that he's recently had through the course of the season. I'd like to welcome our very special guest, manager Cheffery Dahmer. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
Thank you, Phil. Can I call you Phil, or is it Mr. Ascio?
Either one you would prefer, just don't call me by my full legal name.
All right, Phil Ascio, thank you. Thank you for having me on the show. I think it's about time. You guys have interviewed all these other teams and these managers that are maybe not as good of a record and not as good at talking shit, but here I am nonetheless. Better late than never.
Absolutely. And, that's one reason that I've been dying to have you on the show. The sheer confidence that you display. I know you're great at talking your shit. Despite how terrible you might be doing on any given year, you're still willing to talk it. You're still there to cause upsets and all that. And that's why we love having you in the league. Just a real powerhouse in terms of making the other managers think and getting in their head. I appreciate that.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate the vote of confidence as well.
Absolutely. And so, I just want to talk to you about some stuff tonight. You're sitting with a very good chance of going to the playoffs this year. You have a 6-4 record. Some things I want to talk to you about, though. So, a couple things I want to mention before we get deep into it. Second lowest team in points scored this year. Lowest scored points against this year. We have 6 games under 100 points for you, and 3 of those, half of those were wins. So that's an incredible feat in itself. I just want to talk to you a little bit about your ranking right now and your win-loss, because is it luck? Is it matchups? Is it you, or what's going on here? Tell me a little bit about your season.
Well, Phil, they say that defense wins championships. I mean, you had the 2009 Steelers with the 20th ranked offense in the league, and they beat the Arizona Cardinals to win the Super Bowl. They had the 2011 Giants with a 9-7 record getting into the playoffs and winning and beating Tom Brady in the playoffs. Defense, that's all it is. And I understand.
Are you telling me right now that other people sucking on the weeks that they play you is considered defense on your part? Because we have a defense on our team, and yours hasn't been doing well either. So I just want to point that out. I don't think it's necessarily defense. I think it's somewhat matchup based, and at some point you have to admit that at least a little bit.
I mean, luck is a huge part of these wins. I will agree with that, but they're also wins. At the end of the day, that's the record that I have, and that's the record that's getting me into the playoffs. So is it really that much of a loss, or can we really talk that much about it, even though the results are there?
Hey, I can't argue with that. A win in the record column is a win in the record column, and you've been stacking them up. So congratulations on that. I want to talk to you. Our next conversation topic is your matchup next week. Now, I know as a manager, you never want to look past your current week. You have a game this week. That's kind of your focus. But to say that you haven't at least looked forward to next week when you play manager Noah Bennett, who has been a big rival of yours this year, there has to be some type of feeling there, a preparation for, an ass beating, at least some shit being talked in the group chat or something. What do you think about the matchup with Noah, and how much stock are you investing in that right now?
That I feel like this matchup is going to be a huge push for the playoffs. I mean, I feel like if him and I could both pull out a win this week, then it's going to have some implications. And, I've kind of been beating the dead horse because he's on like a 4-game losing streak, but it's not keeping him from talking shit either. So, at the same time, we'll get the next week after this week. It's 1 week at a time. I need a little luck this week as well. And I mean, it's working out for me so far. So
Yeah, absolutely. And so something about, you and Noah Bennett both, y'all are the managers, as I've said before, even in this interview, that you like to get into the other person's head. In the week leading up to the matchup, you'll send each other private messages and pictures and videos and, secret texts of sort to kind of fuck
He
with the
told
other
you?
person and get them all ramped up.
Well, some of those pictures were between Noah and myself, so if he's sharing them, that's on him. Uh, but it just comes with the territory, man. I've been alive a few years longer than some of you guys, so I got that many more years of shit talking to back it up. So I'm not scared to throw the verbal haymakers at some people if I have to, and it just makes it fun. So
yeah. Any added entertainment value to this league is always welcome. But like in a serious fashion, though, you're tied at 6-4 with several other teams. Eric Kilpatrick, Duval Diamonds, and then you have some people coming up from behind who are actually, within the 3 games that we have left. So when you look at your division, it is a tight playoff picture. Obviously, you need wins. You need other people to lose. I wouldn't say that you're in control of your own destiny by any stretch of the imagination with the points scored. But if you look at the BSPN predictions right now, you have about a 75% chance of making the playoffs, which I find incredible. Obviously, you just need to keep your eyes on the prize, handle each game, and do what you can do, which is win. So,
correct.
Good luck there. And like I said, any entertainment value added, we love the shit talking. We love all that. It's great. So let me ask you this. We have the trade deadline coming up next week. I believe it's on the 23rd at 12 o'clock p.m. Have you targeted any trades? I know with the points being scored, and we've already addressed that several times. Are you looking for a remedy? Are you looking for any actions that need to be taken, gathering more pieces, completing parts of your roster that you feel may be lacking any given week?
Well, I feel like my team got plagued by the injury bug a little bit at the beginning of the year, and then I kind of turned it on at the right spot. Losing Jamar Chase a few weeks ago was huge for my receiving core. Luckily, I had, some reserves that kind of stepped up. ETN started stepping up and scoring me points. So, I lost a running back. I lost my wide receiver. But, those wins were a little bit of luck. But, it's also people turning on at the right time. I feel like some of the competition that is coming and knocking on my doorstep to try and get this playoff spot are getting plagued by the injury bug now, Mr. Bennett included. So I feel like my main bye weeks are kind of behind me for the most part, and I feel like going forward I'll be able to play pretty much all of my studs in their given spots. Aces and places wins championship. So I've been fortunate with some waiver wire pickups, but as far as the trade deadline goes, this league's tough to trade in. Everybody wants a unicorn for just a workhorse. So I'm willing to trade, but I'm probably just gonna ride this pony until it gets me across the finish line.
And I'm glad to see you here, appreciative of your own team. We've had some managers come in here and just totally whore out, just tits out for a trade. And it's crazy because, sometimes you gotta stick with your guys. And looking at your team, I have noticed the pattern that you've mentioned a couple weeks mid-season ago, where you're stuck around the 70 to 75 point mark. Here we got you coming back up to the sort of the plateau we've seen before. Obviously, Jamar Chase getting hurt, that affects your team very much. Amon-Ra St. Brown coming back, that's a major factor, as well as the James Robinson trade. Hurtful as a Jacksonville Jaguar fan, but with Travis Etienne coming on, that's a major proponent to your team in scoring points. So we see, the score is reflective of that, and it's going to keep, continuing, or either you're going to lose and be out of the year. So, there's not much of a choice.
We will see.
Let's see. First of all, do you have any worries about getting to the playoffs? If you get there, are you going to make a run? Or does the score bother you? I know that's, a huge topic of conversation. Do you mind being poked and prodded about it?
Not at all. Obviously I would want to score more points because those wins would be a little less down to the wire. If I make it to the playoffs, and that's a strong if. I'm pretty confident on making it. The only thing that might keep me out is those points. If I end up finishing tied with a couple players, and the points are going to keep me out, and that would be unfortunate considering the run I've had over the past 5 or 6 weeks. But that's the name of the game. People get hot at the right time. People slow down. that would be my only concern right now. But I do feel like I have a pretty strong chance to make these playoffs because my matchups over the next few weeks are pretty favorable in my part.
That's another dig at manager Noah Bennett from you, I would assume.
It's only one of 3 wins that I'm probably going to get, so that might be a guaranteed one. Yeah,
I love it. Okay, well,
you guys give me that unanimous decision that week.
And that's fair. You might get it. I mean, the way Noah's been playing has obviously been poor. The team that you have coming back up, is a little bit favorable. I don't know. That's a tough game, and could have game of the week implications coming up to it. Chef, at this point, I just want to give you the floor. Anything you want to say to the managers? Anything you want to say to the media who has doubted you this whole year? What do we have to hear from Cheffery Dahmer himself?
I feel like every week I get ups and downs from all of you guys. Some weeks, I feel like, Mr. Phil and, Mr. Barry, even though he's probably drunk the whole time, have picked me for some pretty tough wins. And I appreciate that. I have no problem playing the underdog role. I mean, it's just one of the things, you tell me that I'm not going to win, I want to win. So of course I won't, I like that underdog role. I don't want to be, sitting at 9-1, with the favorable Super Bowl win on my shoulders. Like, I want to claw back and fight and make it far into the playoffs and maybe get that championship. You guys invited me into the league because I can compete, and I'm here to compete and talk shit the entire time.
And compete you have, and along with, like I said, just more fire to the pot. Bringing you into this league, we knew not only that you would keep up with your roster, you would be competitive on a year-to-year basis, but also the fire that you bring, the competitive spirit, the shit talking, the fun, the entertainment, it's all there. We love talking to you, and we loved having you on the show tonight. I just want to thank you one more time for coming on. Give it up for Cheffery Dahmer. Thank
you, Mr. Acio. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Have a great night, and have a great night to you too, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining in on this week's edition of Meeting with the Manager. Quick thank you to our sponsor, Sam's Clams. If it's in a shell, you can tell that's Sam's Clams.
Yeah.